Namo Buddhaya, Namo Ratnataya. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. And welcome to the third of our three programs for ringing in the new year with the Arahants. Happy New Year's Eve or New Year's if you're already into the new year. I see here some people I think are joining us from already next year. Venerable Dhammadharini and Venerable Arahat Sanghamitta, welcome. Happy to see you both here. I think one of you coming from Malaysia and one perhaps from Sri Lanka. And anyone else coming from around the world. We welcome you to our New Year's program reflecting on the Arahants. What a wonderful topic for our to inspire us as we move into this new year. We have a special dedication this evening for the great Arahant Bhikkhuni Anulatisa Theri of Sri Lanka. We're going to be hearing much more about her story throughout this evening and reflecting on that and how that can inspire us today. Today is, or we're just past the lunar anniversary of her ordination and her arahatship, which came together very quickly. Over 2,500 years ago, and her, along with 1,000 other women, also became ordained and became arahants. So celebrating that today, celebrating the new year. And this is also our regular Tuesday evening program, which we begin with a little bit of meditation and some Dhamma reflection. So with that, I'm going to invite our teacher here, Ayasophana Theri, to lead us in some guided meditation. Just a short one, about 15 minutes, and then we'll hear more about Anulatisa Theri.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammang sangham namasami. We venerate the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So may this brief meditation at the beginning of our program tonight be a way for each and every one of us to settle down and become calm within, and also open and receptive, able to take on board the inspiration from this contemplating about the history and the qualities of these extraordinary Bhikkhunis who were fully enlightened in such numbers those many thousands of years ago. In contemplating the Sangha, contemplating the noble Sangha, there is a use of imagery or imagination in bringing to mind those noble, enlightened teachers of the past. Just the same way when we practice the Brahma Viharas, one of the methods is to call to mind a dear person who might be our teacher, the inspiring teacher who helps us. The person for whom simply recalling them or being in the room with them brings the lifting up of the spirit, lifting up of joy. So in the same way, when we call to mind the noble enlightened Bhikkhuni Sangha, we are lifting up our own heart in appreciation, and also opening up to ourselves those qualities of bodhi, the qualities of enlightenment. Of course, we know that the Buddha said each one needs to rely on themselves for one's own breakthrough, the transformation of how we understand and know. And also, the Buddha said there's no progress on this path without the Kalyanamitta, the beautiful friend. And there is no more beautiful friend, the association with which we can wake up, than the one who is already awake. So in this meditation, in this, we could say preliminary thinking, as we set up for meditation, we are being in the presence of that bodhi, that awakening of the enlightened Arahants. And we are in the presence of whatever potential we have within for our own awakening. So we let our own potential awakening mind be in connection with the awakened mind of the Arahant. And the normal posture, you could say, for that kind of relationship, when we realize what awakening is, the head comes down. We bow in reverence. Anything that we have within us that could be mundane or petty or polluted, as we bow down, we lay down, set down whatever is low. And then when we come up with the palms raised in Anjali, in respect, we are opened up to what is high. We are raising our mind and raising our aspiration towards the very highest. And we are so lucky to remember that the Buddha very regularly, when teaching about awakening, he started with a meditation practice that's available for all of us in terms of these 6 senses, this fathom-long body that we have right now, this living body, endowed with the 6 senses. And so coming to a meditation posture, placing the body in that upright, balanced way, allowing the hands to rest. letting go of thoughts about the past and future. Resting in awareness of this present moment. Aware of the I. Aware of the visible object. Aware of the contact with the I. And aware of the feeling arising from that. Aware of the ear and the sounds and the contact with the sounds. And the feeling arising from that. Aware of smells, aware of the nose. And aromas and contact. And the feeling arising from that. Aware of the tongue. Flavor. Contact. And the feeling arising from that. of the body. Aware of touches, a contact, and the feeling arising from that. Aware of the mind, of knowable things, the contact, and the feeling arising from that. With this fathom-long body, sensing and experiencing, knowing, a bodhi, the awakening, is right here, not anyplace else. Aware how we experience through all the senses and the mind.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Oh, yes. So first Anumodana to our Ayasobana for leading us in this lovely guided meditation. And I'd like to welcome everyone again, especially those venerables who have popped in the meantime. My respects and greetings, Ayasudhamma, coming to us from North Carolina. Happy to see you. Aye. We also have, let's see, Venerable Metta Jivi. Happy to see you, Venerable. I think you may also be with Venerable Dhammanusari and Venerable Jitindra. And I think you're coming to us from Vietnam. So I appreciate you joining us today. Also very happy to see Bhikkhuni Sheila, or well, maybe she's, oh, there she is, yes. Bhikkhuni Sheila is still with us. My respects and greetings, Venerable, coming to us from Bangladesh. I'm so glad you could join us this evening. And everyone here, very happy to be with everyone for this entry into the new year with Ayasobana, who's just led us in this lovely meditation. I'm Bhikkhuni Kachayana. I have next to me Venerable Tavira. We also have here Venerable Dhammawara and Seminary Arya Dhammajivi. And not on the camera, but others in the room. We have our Anagarika Mita Kanti and Leah and Colleen and Shalina. Happy to see you on the Zoom, coming to us from the other side of the building in quarantine. Welcome. And everyone who's joined us. I know there's many options what one can do on New Year's Eve, and I'm very glad and touched that you have chosen together to be with us together this evening to ring in the new year with the Arahants. We're especially honored. Oh, I should mention, of course, Ayatotaloka. You don't see her on the screen, but our founding abbess, Ayatotaloka, has been a major part of preparing the materials that we're going to be sharing with you today and inspiring this program in many ways. So she's not here this evening because of her health, but we know that she's with us in spirit and want to share our appreciation and blessings and anumodana with her. And this program is dedicated especially to one particular Arahant, Arahat Anulatisa Theri, whom this may be a familiar name to some of you, but probably for many it's a relatively new. Might not all know her story in great detail or why we would be especially honoring her. So I'm going to next up invite Venerable Tavira to share a little presentation with us to introduce to us this great Arahat Anulatisa Theri, and whose anniversary of Arahatship and ordination we're celebrating today. Venerable, welcome. You.
Right. Welcome to Ringing in the New Year with the Arahants. So we're celebrating the lunar anniversary of the ordination and awakening of Anulatisa Theri and her 1,000-strong assembly of awakened women. So thank you for joining us on this New Year's Eve 2024. So one of the initiatives of Dhammadharini is to help us revive our knowledge of Bhikkhuni history, or HERstory. And we are looking for ways we can revive and share what we know of these ancient great Bhikkhunis and reflect on how they can inspire our practice today. So this evening, we're offering Patipatti Puja with a dual dedication. So we're offering our practice in dedication to those great Arahantas of the past, and also to the re-arising of Bhikkhuni Arahantas in the present and future, as we water and nurture our own seeds of Bodhi that they bear fruit. And as Venerable Kachayana said, very much want to appreciate and thank Ayata Taloka for her inspiration for this program and for her help in preparing the materials that I'm presenting this evening. So, full moon of December, Dhammadharini and many people around the world celebrated Sanghamitta Day. But the events that are commemorated on Sanghamitta Day are far from the end of the story. So more and more people are becoming aware of Arahat Sanghamitta Theri. And we're getting used to seeing those famous images of her arriving in Sri Lanka in the ship, carrying the Bodhi tree sapling. And however, many Theravada Buddhists, even if they knew about her, they were raised with the idea that she was the last Bhikkhuni, the end of the lineage. But if you look at the ancient Pali text chronicles of Sri Lanka, they actually tell a very different story. And many Theravada Buddhists outside of Sri Lanka have never learned the rest of the story. So much more than the journey of one Arahant Bhikkhuni, as amazing as that is with the Bodhi tree, there's a lot more that's often either overshadowed or left out entirely. So just to remind us of when all of this is happening, it was the 3rd century BCE, in the year 250 BCE, which for the classical Sri Lankan Theravada counting is 237 years after the final passing of the Buddha. So we've heard about Sanghamitta Theri setting out on her journey to Sri Lanka, but why? This was actually instigated at the request of an important woman in Sri Lanka at that time, known as Queen Anula Devi, who was the wife of the crown prince. The Arahat Mahinda Thero had arrived in Sri Lanka and begun to teach the Dhamma to great effect on everyone there. And one of those who heard his teachings was Queen Anula. And listening to the Dhamma he was sharing, she very quickly woke up. So she became a stream enterer, and then on the 2nd day of his teaching, a stream winner. And having had this realization, she then had the aspiration to ordain and practice as a bhikkhuni. So she requested to go forth, and not just her, but also 500 royal maidens and 500 other ladies of the royal household who also wished to ordain alongside her. We'll be showing some images here from a Sinhala film about her life. So we've talked about some of this history recently at the time of Sanghamitta Day. It's also worth reflecting again on what did not happen at this point in the story. So Anula Devi was a queen and the wife of the viceroy. And we can very well imagine that she might have been told, your duty is to your husband and your kingdom. Or she might have been told, your duty is to support these great monks in their practice who have arrived in Sri Lanka. Or she might have been told, women don't have the capacity to realize these things. So focus on earning merit by serving the Bhikkhu Sangha. Or she might have been told, you already have this comfortable life as a queen, so you don't need to become a bhikkhuni. You can practice just as well as you are now. Or she might have been told, you can shave your head and renounce and have a really quiet, humble life, serving and practicing. Or she might even have been told, your best chance is to hope to be reborn as a man. So many women throughout history have heard these kinds of things when they express their aspirations. But in the case of Queen Anula Devi, this is not what she heard. So when she requested to go forth, she was taken very seriously, both by the great Arahant Mahinda Thero, as well as by the king of Sri Lanka. And Arahat Mahinda Thera was well aware that there were great awakened Bhikkhunis in the world, and his own sister, Arahat Sanghamitta Theri, was one of them. The two of them were the son and daughter of the Emperor Ashoka of India. So King Devanampiyatissa Tissa of Sri Lanka sent his prime minister, Prince Aditya, with an invitation requesting that Sanghamitta Theri come to Sri Lanka to ordain Queen Anula Devi. And it's also worth noting at this point, also, she did not say, like, oh, this is too much trouble. You don't need to do this for me. So the Emperor Ashoka was reluctant at first. His son, Mahinda Thera, had already gone to Sri Lanka, and he didn't want to lose his beloved daughter also. But Sanghamitta Theri was insistent. So the awakening and aspiration of the women of Sri Lanka was vitally important, and she must go. So with great fanfare and quite a bit of support from the Emperor Ashoka, an expedition was launched. And Sanghamitta Theri made the journey to Sri Lanka to teach and ordain Queen Anula Devi and her 1,000 women companions. You can see here a relatively modern painting from a temple in Sri Lanka showing this ordination. And the old Sri Lankan Pali text chronicles tell us that all of these women woke up, becoming Arahants. And with her ordination, we now call her by a new name. So no longer Queen Anula Devi. We now call her Arahat Anula Tissa Theri. And she is recorded as the first Bhikkhuni Arahant of Sri Lanka. Well, in some places, she's recorded as the first Arahant of Sri Lanka in general. Apparently, there are differing sources on that. So here we have an excerpt from the Mahavamsa, which is the Sri Lankan Pali text chronicle, telling at least this small part of the story, which I'll read. Near the great Lord's Bodhi tree, through the wonder of being the flag of the true Dhamma, preached in the lovely words of the land of Lanka, Queen Anula, with 500 women, and together with another 500 women of the royal household, after receiving ordination in the presence of the Sanghamitta Theri, those 1,000 Bhikkhunis, after developing insight through Vipassana, in no long time attained the state of Arahata. So that ordination and their complete awakening are commemorated this week on the lunar calendar, Pusa Masang Amavasi Uposita, which is the new moon following the December full moon. And on the lunar calendar, this is 1 week after the arrival of Sanghamitta Theri in Anuradhapura, which is the royal capital of Sri Lanka, where she planted the Bodhi tree. And that tree is still there now. So according to the narrative passed down to us, just after the ordination and arahatship of Anula Tissa Theri and the 1,000 Bhikkhunis, there was another ordination and arahatship of Prime Minister Aditya, so having completed his mission to bring Sanghamitta Theri to Sri Lanka. And he was ordained and woke up along with a large number of bhikkhus. And so with this one anniversary, we are commemorating the arahatship of many people, both bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. And with that, the really firm establishment of the fourfold Sangha and the bhikkhu and bhikkhuni Arahat Sangha in Sri Lanka. And this proved to be one of the most successful and well-established lineages of the Buddha's dispensation in the world, which has been just essential for the preservation of Theravada Buddhism that has been passed down to us now. So it's worth noting that all of these efforts that were gone to bring Sanghamitta Theri and to have these ordinations really led to the very firm establishment of the fourfold Sangha, which has had an incredibly beneficial, lasting impact through history. And it's also worth noting that these are really unique records of Arahant Bhikkhunis beyond India. So there are many other records in Mahayana, Chan, Zen Buddhism of Bhikkhunis beyond India, including great Bhikkhuni masters and stupas and relics. But this story is the only record that exists of the spread of the early Savakayana or Theravada Arahant Bhikkhuni Sangha beyond the Indian subcontinent. And this is recorded both in their story in the Pali texts that have been passed down to us, and also in the archaeological records and antiquities. So you see here Arahant Sanghamitta Theri stupa in Sri Lanka, and next we'll be watching a documentary about this stupa and its excavation. And here on the right, you see Sanghamitta Theri's, we believe, her relics that were excavated from that stupa. And even then, with those 1,001 Bhikkhuni Arahantas, it's still not the end of the story. This is actually just the beginning of more than 1,000 years of documented tradition of realized awakened Bhikkhunis, practitioners and Sangha members and teachers and leaders in Sri Lanka. The chronicles record many outstanding Bhikkhunis over the following centuries in Sri Lanka, with Bhikkhunis who are very learned and teaching the Vinaya and the Suttas and the Abhidhamma. And there are inscriptions which record ongoing royal donations in support of the Bhikkhunis for the next 1,300 years. So returning to our dedication, see here a picture from Ayatata and her group visiting the Sanghamitta Theri stupa in 2018 before its excavation. So this is what it looked like for many years, and now it looks very different. And so now at the turning of the new year, we offer our own practice and dedication to those great Arahantas of the past. We help to revive and tell their stories, bringing those stories into the present. And we dedicate our practice and our aspiration to the re-arising of Bhikkhuni Arahantas in the present and future. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Great. Thank you very much to Venerable Tavira for sharing that with us. Lovely overview. So yes, it has been part of Dhammadharini's mission to raise up these stories and share them. But we're actually not alone in that. And what I'm going to do next is share from others' efforts to be sharing these stories more widely. This past year in June at the Poson Poya, there was a great, program and exhibition of the Sanghamitta Theri Chaitya in Sri Lanka, the newly excavated stupa there. There's an exhibition of the relics and a program including this 10-minute documentary that I'm about to show about this stupa and its revitalization and renaissance. So this is not our creation. This comes from, we just want to express our gratitude to those who created it. And you just find my name here. Okay, so what we're about to watch is an excerpt from the Anula Poson Zone exhibition showcasing the antiquities of the venerable relics, Dhatu, unearthed from the Mahintale Arahat Anula Theri Stupa. This was a Facebook live broadcast on Venerable Dr. Bodha Gama Chandima's Facebook channel on Poson Poya with Sinhala language in June this past year. And we have respectfully and gratefully added English captions to this. with the help of Google Translate and minor corrections by a faithful team of Buddhist bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, and lay Dhamma friends, and prepared for our viewing and discussion this evening together on this wonderful lunar anniversary of Arahat Anula's arahatship and ordination, along with the 1,000 women. So with that, I will play this 10-minute documentary for us, and then we'll have some time for discussion.
Just to mention, this video, and with enormous work on the translation, is the offering of Ayatotaloka for this evening.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ උතුරු මැද පළාතේ පිහිටා ඇති මිහින්තලය මෙරට බුදුදහමේ කේන්ද්‍රස්ථානය ලෙස ගෞරවාදරයට පාත්‍ර වෙනවා. ගල් තලාවක් මත පිහිටා ඇති අනුලාතිස්ස පබ්බත විහාර සංකීර්ණ පරිශ්‍රය පුරාණ ස්මාරක සහ ආගමික උරුමයන් රාශියකට නිජ භූමියක්ද වෙනවා. මේ පුරාවිද්‍යා පරිශ්‍රය තුළ නටබුන්ව පවතින ස්මාරකවල ආධ්‍යාත්මික වැදගත්කම සහ මෙරට සංස්කෘතික උරුමය පිළිබඳ කතන්දරය විස්තර කරනවා. මෙම ඓතිහාසික ස්මාරක අතර අනුලාතිස්ස පබ්බත විහාර සංකීර්ණය භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේලා වෙනුවෙන් ඉදිකරන ලද විහාර සංකීර්ණයක් බැවින් ලෝකයේ බෞද්ධ සම්ප්‍රදායේ වටිනා සාක්ෂියක් වෙනවා. අනුරාධපුර නගරයට නැගෙනහිර දිසාභිමුඛව පිහිටා ඇති මිහින්තලය නගරයේ සිට A9 මාර්ගයේ කිලෝමීටර 2ක් පමණ යාපනයේ දෙසට ගිය විට අනුලාතිස්ස ස්තූපය පිහිටි ස්මාරක භූමියට ළඟා විය හැකියි. ස්වභාවිකව පිහිටා ඇති ප්‍රමාණයෙන් විශාල වූ ගල් තලාවක මෙම ස්තූපය ඉදිකර තිබීම බෞද්ධ ගෘහ නිර්මාණ ශිල්පීය භාවිතය පිළිබඳ නූතන විද්‍යාඥයන් පවා මවිත කරන්නක්. ආරාම සංකීර්ණයක් ලෙස පැවති මේ භූමියේ අනුලාතිස්ස ස්තූපය ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අනෙකුත් ස්තූප අතර සුවිශේෂීත්වයක් උසුලනවා. එහි ඓතිහාසික හා ආගමික වැදගත්කම නිසාවෙනි. අනුලා ස්තූපය නම් කර ඇත්තේ බුදුදහම වැළඳගත් මුල්ම රාජකීයෙකු වන අනුලා බිසවගේ නමින්. මෙරට මෙහෙණි සසුන ආරම්භ වන්නේද අනුලා දේවිය බුදුදහම වැළඳගෙන සසුන්ගත වීමත් සමග බව ඉතිහාසයේ දැක්වේ. මහා වංශයට අනුව අනුලා දේවිය යනු දේවානම්පිය තිස්ස රජුගේ කනිටු සොහොයුරා වූ උපරාජ මහානාග රජුගේ බිසවයි. මිහිඳු මාහිමියන්ගේ ධර්මය ඇසීමෙන් පැහැදුණු අනුලා බිසව පැවිදිවීමෙන් පසුව අනුලාතිස්ස තෙරණිය ලෙස ප්‍රකට වෙනවා. 500ක් භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේලා සමග පැවිදි වූ අනුලාතිස්ස තෙරණින් වහන්සේ වැඩ වාසය කළ ආරාම සංකීර්ණය තුළ අනුලා සෑය ඉදි කරලා තියෙනවා. මහා වංශයට අනුව බාතිය තිස්ස රජුගේ ඇවෑමෙන් රජකම් කළ කනිට්ට තිස්ස රජු විසින් අනුලාතිස්ස ස්තූපය කර වූ බවටද සඳහන් වෙනවා. කනිට්ට තිස්ස රාජ සමයේ මෙම ස්තූපය ඉදි වූයේ නම් එය ක්‍රිස්තු වර්ෂ 229 247 කාලය දක්වා දිවෙන ස්මාරකයක් ලෙස ඉතිහාසගත වන බව පැවසිය හැකියි. අනුරාධපුර රාජධානියේ භික්ෂුණීන් සඳහා අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන පැවති බවට සාංචි විහාරාශ්‍රිත ශිලාලේඛන වලින් පැහැදිලි වන බව පුරාවිද්‍යාඥයින් පවසනවා. අනුලාතිස්ස බෞද්ධ අධ්‍යාපන ආයතනය කේන්ද්‍ර කොටගෙන චීනය, ටිබෙටය, මොංගෝලියාව වැනි රටවලට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සිට මෙහෙණි සසුන රැගෙන ගිය බවට එරට ඓතිහාසික කරුණු වලින් සනාථ වෙනවා. තේරවාද, මහායාන හා වජ්‍රයාන යන බෞද්ධ සම්ප්‍රදායන් වල මෙහෙණි සසුන ආරම්භ කිරීමට මෙරට විසූ භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේලා මූලික වූ බවද සඳහන් වෙනවා. අනුලාතිස්ස ස්මාරක පරිශ්‍රය තුළ භික්ෂුණීන්ගේ පරිහරණය සඳහා ඉදිකලේ යැයි සිතිය හැකි ආරාම සංකීර්ණයක නටබුන් දැකිය හැකියි. ඒවා ස්ථාපනය කර තිබූ බවට මෙම ස්තූපයේ කේන්ද්‍ර කරගත් පුරාවිද්‍යා පරිශ්‍රයේ දක්නට ලැබේ. ආරාම පරිශ්‍රයේ භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේලාගේ මූලික අවශ්‍යතා සපයාගත් ආකාරය මෙම පරිශ්‍රයේ පිහිටා ඇති පොකුණු වලින් මනාව පැහැදිලි වෙනවා. ගල්තලාවේ උතුරු හා බටහිර දෙසින් පිහිටි ස්වභාවික බැස්ම යොදා ගනිමින් මෙම පොකුණු නිර්මාණය කර තියෙනවා. පොකුණු වල රැඳෙන ජලය පිට කිරීම සඳහා ජල වහන පද්ධතියක්ද පැවති බවට සාක්ෂි කනදරා වැව ආශ්‍රිතව හඳුනාගත හැකියි. වසර 2500කටත් වඩා මෙරට බෞද්ධ සමාජ සංස්කෘතික ආගමික අධ්‍යාපනික උරුමයන් විදහාපාන සහ පළමු භික්ෂුණියගේ නමින් ඉදි වූ මෙම ස්තූපය සංරක්ෂණයට පෙර පැවතියේ මෙබඳු ආකාරයකටයි. ස්වභාවික ගල්තලාව මැද්දේ දකුණේ සිට මීටර 246ක් පමණ ගිය විට ගල්තලාවේ උස් භූමියේ වේදිකාවක් මෙන් සකස් කොට ඒ මත ස්තූපය නිර්මාණය කර තිබෙනවා. නටබුන්ව පැවති ස්තූපයේ මුල් ස්වභාවය මතු කර ගැනීම සඳහා පුරාවිද්‍යා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව 2021 වර්ෂයේදී පාදා ගැනීමේ කැණීම් ආරම්භ කරනවා. විවිධ දේශගුණික හා මානව ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලට ලක්වීමේ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ලෙස ස්තූපයේ පෙනුම පවතින්නේ මෙලෙසයි. සිදු කරනු ලැබූ කැණීම් මගින් ස්තූපයේ නිර්මාණ තාක්ෂණය පිළිබඳ ඓතිහාසික කරුණු රාශියක් සොයාගත හැකි වේ. ඉන් වඩා වැදගත්ම සාධකය වන්නේ අනුලාතිස්ස භික්ෂුණියගේ ඇ සිටිය හැකි මංජුසාවක තිබී අනාවරණය කරගත් ශාරීරික අස්ථි කොටස්ය. එය මනාව සකසන ලද පාෂාණමය හා මැටි කරඬුවල තැන්පත් කරන ලද මෙම අස්ථි කොටස් වර්තමානයේ පූජනීයත්වයට පාත්‍ර කොට තිබෙනවා. මෙම මානව අවශේෂ අස්ථි කොටස් වලට අමතරව මැටි බඳුන් මගින් එම කාලයේ භාවිතා කළ ද්‍රව්‍යමය සංස්කෘතිය පිළිබඳ සාක්ෂි හා සොයාගන්නා ලද තඹ රිදී හා රන් කාසි වලින් එකල පැවති ආර්ථික හා වෙළඳාම පිළිබඳ වටිනා තොරතුරු මෙන්ම ගල් ලෝහ හා මැටි ද්‍රව්‍ය වලින් බෞද්ධ දේව රූප පිළිම සත්ව රූප වලින් පැවති ආගමික වැදගත්කම හඳුනාගත හැකි වේ. ස්තූපය අසලින් සොයා ගන්නා ලද ශිලා ලේඛනය ස්තූපයේ ඓතිහාසිකත්වයේ පිළිබඳ වැදගත් තොරතුරු අනාවරණය කරනවා. ලාංකීය ප්‍රෞಢ ඉතිහාසයක සංස්කෘතික ප්‍රතිබිම්බයක් ලෙස වන්දනීයත්වයට පාත්‍රවන අනුලා ස්තූපය කැණීම් කොට ජාතියට දායාද කිරීමට උත්සාහ ගනිමින් තිබෙනවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකා පුරාවිද්‍යා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ පූර්ණ අධීක්ෂණය යටතේ කැණීම් කිරීම සඳහා කැලණිය බොල්ලෑගල නාගානන්ද ජාත්‍යන්තර බෞද්ධ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය වෙත පවරා තිබෙනවා. දෙදහස් 500 වසරක මහඟු අතීතය විදහාපාන අනුලා ස්තූපය මතු පරපුරේ උරුමයට දායාද කරන්නට නව සංරක්ෂණ තාක්ෂණික ක්‍රම අනුගමනය කෙරෙනවා. ඒ අතර ස්තූපයේ මුල් ආකෘතිය විද්‍යාර්ථීන්ට පර්යේෂකයන්ට ජනයාට නැරඹිය හැකිවන පරිදි සංරක්ෂණය කෙරෙනවා. අනුලා තෙරණියගේ ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා යයි අනුමාන කර ඇති අස්ථි කොටස් හා නිර්මාණාකෘතිය දැක බලා ගැනීමට හැකිවන පරිදි මෙය ගොඩනගා තිබෙනවා. වර්තමානයේ බුද්ධ කාලීන ලුම්බිනිය නරඹමින් වන්දනාමාන කරන්නට අවකාශය ලැබෙනසේ අනුලා ස්තූපයේද සංරක්ෂණ කටයුතු සිදුවෙමින් පවතිනවා. හෙට උපදින මතු පරපුරට ලාංකීය ප්‍රෞಢ ඉතිහාසය හා උරුමයන් දායාද කිරීමට උත්සාහ කරන අනුලාතිස්ස ස්තූප සංරක්ෂණ ව්‍යාපෘතිය වසර 10කින් නිම කිරීමට සැලසුම් කර තිබෙනවා. ජාතියේ ඓතිහාසික පුරාවෘත්තය තව තවත් ශක්තිමත් වෙමින් අනුලා ස්තූපය දෙස් විදෙස් බැතිමතුන් හා සංචාරකීන්ට ලෝක උරුමයක් ලෙසම සංවර්ධනය වනවා නොවනුමානයි.
Oh, thank you. And gratitude again to the Nagananda University and everyone involved in producing this video and sharing this wonderful new development with us, this uncovering of what was there in the past. Clearly this was something that was of great importance to the people of Sri Lanka at the time. They built this great monument and supported this Sangha, the Bhikkhuni Sangha, for so many thousands of years. And so to recover that and share it with the world, we anumodana to everyone who's working on that project. And appreciation to all of you joining us in learning about it this evening. This is our time for questions and answers. Briefly, if anyone has anything they'd like to ask about the information that's just been shared. After that, we'll have an opportunity for a little Dhamma reflection from Ayasobana and some more discussion later. But questions and answers now. Yes, I see Ayasudhamma. I see a hand up. Welcome, Aye.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Oh, that was just lovely to see. I visited the site in 2003, and it was an incredibly desolate place. It had just been discovered. It was still, kind of a new thing. And I just got to tag along when Ms. Ranjani De Silva went to view the place. And our guide was an archaeologist. It was just quite remarkable. And there was a beautiful, beautiful lotus pond near there. And those stone steps, I really had a feeling of going home when I went there. And those stone steps really struck me. I had the most distinct visual image in my head that there were flower boxes on each side of the stone steps, like wooden structures that have flower boxes, the flowers along those stairs. So I cannot see those steps without imagining the flower boxes that jumped to my imagination when I saw it there. And yeah, the stupa, it's really kind of odd to see it sort of scraped open and yet it's also wonderful to realize it was never plundered. All of those wonderful donations there to honor the relics are still still there, still available. It's wonderful. I just wanted to share that thought, and I cannot say more strongly enough how incredibly desolate the place was. I'm startled to see structures on there. I don't know if they were tents or permanent structures, but like, wow, there was nothing there. There was just, windswept rock and bushes and occasional little trees. And it was kind of behind and forgotten, outside, beyond a little village. Yeah. So it's lovely that this is getting its due on the international stage after so very long. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, thank you for sharing. No, that's lovely to have the personal experience and the image of the flower boxes. Uh, may it be so. Maybe they'll put some new flower boxes in with all those renovations. Sounds lovely. Make a suggestion. Thank you, AA. Are there any other questions or comments about what we've just heard, either the presentation or the video? Yes.
There was a couple of
uh,
messages that could be.
Well, I see a hand up from Nita and Saket. Yes, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for this presentation. And I've learned a lot about the Bhikkhuni history. So thank you very much for that, Ayaz. I was curious to know, so then in Sri Lanka, uh, so has the Bhikkhuni tradition continued on since then till the current time, or was there a period where it didn't exist? I'm not very well versed and just wanted to know about this, please.
Um,
So, as we understand, the Bhikkhuni Sangha was thriving for 1,300 years after the after this first ordination. I don't recall the exact numbers, but Ayatollah had mentioned that the absolute number of bhikkhus in Sri Lanka was greater than the number of bhikkhunis, and the number of Arahant bhikkhus was greater in absolute numbers. But as a percentage, the number of Bhikkhunis Arahants as a percentage of the total number of Bhikkhunis as it was recorded in the history was a higher percentage. So the Bhikkhunis were very successful in practicing, training, leading on, passing down the teachings through the generations, so that multi-generations were able to obtain their full awakening. As we may know, throughout history, there have been times that in Sri Lanka and in various other countries, because of the vagaries of history, because of famine, disease, and war, that there have been periods on both the side of the Bhikkhu Sangha and the Bhikkhuni Sangha that the fourfold Sangha fell apart and had a gap. Even I heard about this most prominently because of the teaching about the arising of the Pali text and the anxiety that the Sangha had because of the pressure of famine, war, and numbers. There was a worry whether there would be enough living venerables capable of memorizing all of the suttas, the Vinaya, and the Abhidhamma in order to hand it down. And so then that was the part of the impetus for committing the entire Tipitaka, the entire canonical text, to the written down format. At first, it was a living tradition that was carried on, from mouth to mouth and from person to person. So then, when the Sangha had become very weak, a king of Sri Lanka sent away to the Siam Nikaya in present-day Thailand and found a group of well-qualified Bhikkhu teachers to come back, another mission, just like the first mission, another mission to bring a group to start the ordinations and start afresh to revive the Sangha. But they did not bring back a delegation of Bhikkhunis at that time. So that's the reason why there was an interval in Sri Lankan history in which the Bhikkhuni Sangha was not revived. Whether this was absolutely true throughout the diaspora of the Theravada, there was more than one channel of how the teachings were transmitted as they were spreading out from northern India. So it's possible that the Bhikkhuni Sangha didn't completely doubt even within the Theravada. And we know for sure that as Buddhism was transmitted to into especially into Chinese culture, one of the qualities of Chinese culture was very supportive for the ordination of women. And so then the Bhikkhuni Sangha in China was quite strong, very numerous, very continuous in the other countries. And it's for that reason that, in part, that the was a part of the revival and the bringing back. Even in modern times, when Titaloka, when she was first on her monastic path, she, as I understand that she said about her story, that she had a sympathy for the Theravada way of practicing and for the Theravada style, but not finding the opportunities there. She eventually found her way to Korea and had some contact with a strong Vinaya school of Bhikkhunis based in Korea. And on one occasion, when there was an important meeting in Germany that was organized by the Dalai Lama with respect to the role of women in Buddhism. And I had a chance to meet and see some of the Korean Bhikkhuni Sangha. I came to understand from the presentation that was given there that even in Korea, the Buddhist Sangha was under a tremendous amount of pressure during World War II when Korea was invaded by Japan, and the Japanese government was not sympathetic to the celibate order of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. So they tried to force the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis to become married clergy along the line of the Zen Sangha in Japanese culture. But those who wanted to maintain their purity went and hid away. They hid up in the mountains in caves, and they hid themselves out and survived throughout World War II, and then afterwards were able to come back and reestablish. And I saw the display of the photographs of those masters who had survived the hard times and come out, and it was there was something about it that was so thrilling to see. These women were like made of iron. They were so strong. And when I saw that Sangha with the chief of that group with all of the disciples following behind, and having that sense that this transmission, it wasn't only a transmission of the strength of the enlightenment and wisdom, but also a power of purification that came from holding on to this monastic form through the most severe kinds of challenges and difficulties. I'll give one more metaphor about this, and then would for more messages or questions. At our hermitage in Arahants, we have redwood trees, which some of them had been destroyed, whether because of fires or because of logging in the past. And we can see the evidence that there was an original forest of redwood trees there, where the root of the base of the tree would have had a diameter of 20 or 30 feet in diameter of one tree. And then that tree was destroyed for some reason. And then around from the root system, from the base of the tree, came up many saplings of new trees, which were actually coming up from the same root system. So it wasn't like from a seed that one died and a new one. This was actually a part, like the next generation arising from the same root. And we give an analogy for the re-arising of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, that that tree, that redwood tree could actually be 1,000 years old, and keeps coming up again from the roots. The sprouts keep coming out from the same plant. And so we would like to be like a sprout that may come out and perhaps become a mighty tree sometime in the future.
Sadhu.
Sadhu, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so I hear that there are some comments coming in, messages from Ayatoloka who would like to share something here.
Right, so she is watching with us. Very glad for that, and has a couple of comments. It's not known exactly how the Bhikkhuni Sangha died out in Sri Lanka, but generally said to be due to invasions from South India, which caused both the Bhikkhu and the Bhikkhuni Sangha to die out in the 12th century. And then the Bhikkhu Sangha was restarted from abroad several times, and the Bhikkhuni Sangha was revived 25 years ago in 1998. And then also to mention that Anulatisa Theri stupa actually was plundered, but there were 10 deposits in the stupa and only one of them was plundered. So they've been excavating the remaining 9.
So, yes, thank you. I'd like to just very briefly share a comment from Venerable Bhikkhuni Sheila, a lovely comment in the chat here. Thank you very much, and my heartfelt gratitude for presenting the historical aspects. I was deeply moved after watching the video. Witnessing the journey of the Venerable Bhikkhuni Sangha around the world is truly inspiring. It brings immense joy that our Bhikkhuni Sangha is contributing to the creation and shaping of history. So, sadhu. Thank you for sharing that wonderful comment. And with that, I think we can go to the next part of our program, which in a way we've already begun. It's the Dhamma reflection from Ayasopana on this topic of this story and this revival and this, what does she say here? Creation and shaping of history. So inviting Ayasopana's brief Dhamma reflection on this theme.
Thank you. I will also be happy to make this into a conversation and not simply a lecture, if others have something to share, and also to hear from the other monastics. And I think at some point, especially Seminary Dhammajivi, Arya Dhammajivi, will have something to share from her knowledge and insight. What we're doing here, in a way, are forms of what's called this Patipati Puja, this dedication of practice. When the Buddha was close to his final nibbana, he made the statement, practicing the Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, you will venerate the Buddha. Practicing the Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, you venerate the Dhamma. By practicing the Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, you venerate the Sangha. So the greatest gift that each one of us could give, if you appreciate the enlightened Sangha, if you want the Dhamma to continue to be known in the world, to become something that's, to continue to be something that's truly alive in our human world and not some kind of a dead item in a museum, but something alive and living, then to think of everything that you do individually for your own Dhamma practice, your own efforts to develop right view, to purify the sila, and to practice, to ponder and reflect about the significance of the teachings, to listen to the teachings that are passed down, and to integrate and synthesize those teachings that we may hear into our lived experience, and to use that combination, that it's like it's a meeting point between our personal lived experience and the tradition that's passed down to us, that can be accomplished and supported by all of us. So puja, that's to honor, right? And a main way of honoring one who is worthy of honoring is by giving a gift, giving a flower to the Buddha, giving a spoonful of rice to a mendicant, or giving a robe to an enlightened monastic, or giving robes to the entire Sangha of Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis. So these this idea of the gift and of respect and honor, and the power that has to keep this Dhamma alive, is so important. So one idea that I have is that we would welcome and wish for each person to give what they are able to give to Buddhism. And by living in the world and practicing good, pure ethics, you are giving something in the world. You're giving safety. Surely that's more than everything. What the sila really signifies is that having developed a right view and wisdom, and realizing the full significance of what dukkha is, then one becomes so dedicated to not adding or perpetuating the dukkha in the world. So through our purification, then we stop. We're not going to add another drop of dukkha into our own life, if we've got the power to do that, we don't make any choices that are going to increase and perpetuate dukkha, and also towards others and towards the world. We're not going to do anything that would be causing a harm to any creature anywhere. And so then if we live like that, we're giving to the world this really profound gift of safety. When they're with us, they're not going to be harmed by us. And we may think this is part of our Patipati Puja, that we are also giving this to in the practice that we're doing now with the Enlightened Fourfold Sangha. We're dedicating this gift to Anula Theri, to the 1,000 companions who were enlightened Bhikkhunis, and to the enlightened Bhikkhu Sangha that all existed at that time, and giving to them. So here, there's a picture. You can see a picture. There's the Arahant Sanghamitta, who is teaching the Bhikkhunis. By teaching and discussing the Dhamma is such an important kind of a gift. That is a Patipati Puja. By discussing the Dhamma, by asking questions about the Dhamma, that's a Patipati Puja. So this conversation puts us in the presence of wisdom when it's a human conversation among living human beings, that there's an opportunity for something to be realized in the interaction, which can be handed down. And our own meditation practice as well. We do this for ourselves, but we also do this as the gift. Whenever we listen to the Dhamma, listening to the Dhamma is a really important practice. How many times have we heard, even possibly more so, the most common of all is, as I recall in reading the suttas, we sometimes hear of the enlightened Arahants while they were in their own cave reflecting, that the moment of awakening came to them. Or we may hear that with some gesture, like throwing out the bathwater and seeing the water disappear into the sand. Just at that moment in the activities of daily life, with this transformed mind, that at that moment it's possible to awaken, or like Venerable Bhikkhu Ananda, who awakened after having spent a long night striving and making the effort in meditation, striving for that breakthrough of wisdom, because there was an important conference coming the following day in which the bhikkhus were going to be reciting the Dhamma that had been taught by the Buddha, in order to come to a commonly held agreement about what the teachings were that was going to be passed down. I think you may know the story, that they the first council was held to fix in place the teachings, the Vinaya and the Sutta teachings that were going to be remembered and passed down as a something that's commonly held by all of those living individuals of that enlightened Sangha at that time. And Venerable Ananda, the Buddha's personal assistant, like Martha in the story of Jesus, he was so busy helping other people that he sort of forgot to take care of his own full awakening during the Buddha's lifetime. The Buddha comforted him and said that very soon you're going to obtain your full awakening. And then when this conference was coming up, he was the one who had memorized, with his photographic memory, had memorized all the suttas. And so he had to wake up. And so he tried and meditated with great concentration. And then as the first light of dawn was beginning to come in, he gave up and went to lie down. And with that letting go of effort and that relaxation of giving up on the willpower part of the striving, then the enlightenment arose for him. So all of these things that you could say that we do for our own awakening, we are also doing as the most profound kind of gift to the world. And we also may think of making the dedication to those who went before us. So they gave the same gift. They gave their life. They gave decades of effort to the teaching and promoting and using the skillful means to enable so many, in this case, to enable so many women to become fully awakened and to become knowledgeable Dhamma messengers who would be properly trained, fully trained, having memorized the Vinaya, memorized the suttas, memorized the Abhidhamma, and also knowledgeable about the Buddhist history, the history of how the Dhamma had passed down through the generations, and how through the generations of time that the actual living people had continued to be the embodiment of what our Sama Sambuddha, the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, what he had discovered, realized, and what he had taught. I kind of feel like may I turn the mic over to you to speak about history? It's okay. I think you have a mic on your own? Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to turn the camera over so that Seminary Arya Dhammajivi will be able to speak.
Good evening, good night, good morning, Happy New Year. I'm Seminary Arya Dhammajivi. The history is something I'm passionate about. So when I saw the video the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like brand new. There's something that we never saw. This is incredible. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to appreciate and give gratitude to the Sri Lankan people for preserving not only the history, the legacy of not only Sanghamitta, but Arahant Sanghamitta Theri, not only through the great chronicles of Mahavamsa and Dibabangsa, but also through relics and also stone inscriptions to for us to see facts, to see what's happening, what's actually to experience what it was like. So to see that Jettia, the so huge, it's just mind-boggling for me. I couldn't describe how powerful that video is. So I'm so grateful for that. And the history, I think we heard a lot. We learned about the Sanghamitta, and now we've learned about Arahat Sanghamitta Theri. This reminds me that the establishing of Bhikkhuni Sangha and the Fourfold Sangha in Sri Lanka is one of the Emperor Asoka's mission, one of the 9. Okay, and it's incredible, and also in my community, we are known that in Sri Lanka, you're not basically everywhere you go, that it's not going to be a place where an Arahant had not been stepped on. So that is incredible. And that takes me to, what about other mission, right? Other mission, they did the similar. And so I would like to take us to like another one that's close to that is Savanapumi. That's what I'm passionate about. Also, I'm grateful about the Sri Lanka, but I also want to at least connect to it. So, so for this Savanapumi, that's another mission that Emperor Asoka sent to the Sona and Uttara. And like the last full moon when Don De Silva, he mentioned that the establishment of Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka is a diplomacy between 2 great rulers, you know, King Asoka and King Devanampittisa, and at the greatest level, highest level. So that's why I want to bring it to Savanapumi. So when Sona and Uttara went to Savanapumi, and over there was like water demons were eating children who were born in the palace. When they got there, a prince was born. And they came, they wanted to eat the prince. So they went there, they had psychic power. So they went there, they helped defeat the demons. And now you can imagine, this is a prince, you know, prince. And so the connection, you see how faithful and how grateful from the king that for the 2 terrors have saved the prince. So I can imagine back to Sri Lanka how they were so devoted to Mahenda when they went there to spread Buddhism or to teach Buddhism. And when they got there, they taught Brahma Jala Sutta, or the divine net. So they have like 60,000 people penetrated Dhamma, 3,500 men ordained, and 1,500 women ordained. Now I'm interested in the women in Sri Lanka because the Bhikkhuni had to come to ordain them. Now in Savanapumi, the 1,500 women who also came from the noble families, us Sri Lanka, who come. So during that time, we also know that there's so many Bhikkhunis, and they were Arahantis. So they had power, they could fly, they could come, they you know, they're. So I just imagine with me, so with the Mahavamsa also, we learned that the Bhikkhuni could understand or could tell the mind of others, you know. So if these terrors want those Bhikkhuni from India to come, they would know that, and they can come. So I just imagine if they came and they ordained, and these Bhikkhuni would be well learned, just like the Sanghamitta team, they would train these 1,500 women and ordain them, and they became Arahantis, Bhikkhunis. So not just Sri Lanka, where Bhikkhunis or Arahanti Bhikkhunis were everywhere. That would imply Savanapumi too. 1,500 Bhikkhunis and 3,500 Bhikkhus who were well established who were, enlightened. So not only that, in Cambodia, is one of the country that part of the Savanapumi. Not only that, in Cambodia, we had a stone inscription during the reign of Isan Varaman during the 7th century, where he ruled, the place that he ruled was understood as Savanapumi. And that stone inscription is in the museum in the capital, Phnom Penh, right now. Not only that, during his reign, there's record from Chinese that's in Cambodian book saying that during that time, there were so many bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. So I'm just trying to imagine from the Asoka mission, the 1,500 women that were ordained back then, and up to the 7th century, there were many of them. So I can imagine there are many people who were enlightened there, women, men. And also we had record up to the 12th century where the word ordained for a monastic that's being used in the 12th century. So it could be as long as to the 12th century. So it's pretty similar time length to the Sri Lankan history as well. So, so that I just want to share from that. And even though we have little record compared to Sri Lanka's history, but if we kind of imagine similar thing because of the same, and there's like 7 others missions that we don't know about, So how many Arahants out there back then, So that's all I want to share, just to recognize there are many others. Although from Sri Lanka is very grateful, and they keep great records, and for us to enjoy their legacy. Thank you.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And yes, just this image of the Arahantas all around the world, this spreading of this wonderful awakening, that this flowering, the wonderful image and an inspiring image, and not only in one place, but in many places. And may it continue, may it come, maybe continue to realize this flowering today. I'm going to invite next, I think we have with us our, from our board of directors, Supatra, our board of directors, Dhammadharini Support Foundation president, and also our, from the Dhammadharini Support Foundation Board of Directors, Director of Development, Nuchada, are here together, I think, and I invite them to say a few words of sharing at this time. Are you there? Okay, let me put you up here. Oh, good to see you. Okay, Nuchada, welcome.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New
And
Year.
Happy New Year, and it's Happy New Year from Thailand. It's already New Year in Thailand. We were in New Year last night, and I was very grateful to be here and listening to our beloved Bhikkhunis giving us a blessing and stories, and the first day of the new year. I'm very grateful for that. And actually, Supatra is here, and she will be the one who speak on behalf of the board of Dhammadharini. Hi, Supatra.
Hello, and Happy New Year, everyone. Yes, I am both Nuchada and I are accessing the program from Thailand. And so we are very happy to have the opportunity to join this very touching ceremony, especially hearing the story from Seminary's Shivija, right?
Dhammavici, Dhammajivi.
Avajivi. I'm sorry. I've been, haven't had the chance to talk to her since she ordained. So yeah, we all have this programs going on, many programs from Dhammadharini, and we hope that it will sustain not only at this level, but will be able to continue to expand, to reach more people about the words of the Buddha, all this just amazing, history as well as the future. In order to have that going, we will, of course, need all the supports from no one but you all, who is the lay supporters. So, I would like to invite you all to try to help sustain and expand our activities. We have many activities in mind in the future. For example, we would like to have a director that can do the community relations to create activities for locally, for people that lives in the Bay Area. And that would need some more focus as well. In general, what we really would like to have is a recurring donation. So for those of you who have been donating once in a while, if you would just divide that resource that you are going to give to Dhammadharini anyway into 12 units and have it recurring, it would help us a lot in terms of predicting our income and able to systematically decide what we can do. It's something that a number that we can rely upon. So that would be great. Another thing is we know that generally everyone would like to see buildings, right? When you donate, you want to see buildings. But right now, our need is not so much in the building. Our needs is in food, for example, and in general, maintenance of the buildings that we already have, so that we would have the Bhikkhuni can have a good quality of life. So I would like to encourage you to do, if you're not attached to a certain building, to go when you donate, to say a general fund, so we can allocate it to what you may not see coming up from the ground like a building, but knowing that it's a maintenance of the buildings that we already have that really increase the quality of life. And that in itself is very touching too, if you think about it. The other thing that is again abstract is like the cost of insurance. As you know, fire insurance is getting bigger and bigger with time, and that's not because of where we are. It's like the entire Northern California. So it's becoming a lot of insurance company have pulled out from the service altogether. And what's the company that is left? They raise the price a lot. So we're dealing with that. Actually, we're at the point where we're thinking, well, should we continue to have fire insurance or not? It's really that critical. So if you want to dedicate it to a certain cause, perhaps, facilities maintenance can be one, fire insurance, or not fire insurance, we call it property insurance, but it's the same thing. Insurance can be another. If you wanted to dedicate it to something, and if not, general fund would be great. Recurring general fund will be the most desirable thing. Another thing I want to mention is that I don't know if all of you have received email from one of our very dedicated lay person, Lao, who he would send out a sheet for food sign up, food donation. He would send out 3 months at a time with each weekend listed there, and he was asking people to sign their name up for that weekend, or weekend and weekday, up to you, that you will help. Either if you're nearby, you can come and give the food. If you're not nearby, you can order the food online, or you can send in the money for that week. This is trying to encourage the food to which is one of the 4 major requisites, right? To the Bhikkhuni to be really carried directly by the lay Sangha. Some of you may have signed already. Some of you may not even have seen it because we haven't sent it to you. So please, we are trying to expand our our email list to be more to include everyone. So look out for it. And if you see some weeks that has no name on it, please do sign up. Even for 1 week a year is a big kusala or benefits to yourself and to the Sangha. It's a wholesome benefits, right? So Nuchada, who very well like to welcome her as our newest member, and will take care of the fund development. We thank to the Triple Gem that we found her, and she is very willing to help us. She would talk a little bit about her project to try to increase the outreach in YouTube. But before I hand it to her, I would like to also say that we do still have need for volunteers. We need someone who has a background in accounting. If you do, please either contact the monastery, or you can go into our website. There is a tab for volunteer, and a position. Please think about giving some of your time and expertise to help us. We need some event organizers, to help us to help organize more events for the community. So just that two of that alone, if you do have that, if you have some experience with managing insurance, please do think about that too. We do have a couple of different kind of insurance, including car insurance. So I'd like to invite you not only think about donating money resource. Some people may or may not be able to do that, but expertise is as valuable to us, and really, really appreciate it. So I'll give a few minutes to Nuchada to talk about her the project to increase the outreach through YouTube. Yes, Nuchada, please.
Hi. Thank you, Supatra. And I'm really thank you, the monastic, to give a chance for our board of director a very valuable time, and it is very valuable time of the year for the board director for the board to speak. Again, it's all about the feeling of abundance, and as I'm as a one, and us as a children of Buddha, I consider myself. I believe in abundance is coming from giving, not accumulating. And the more we give, the more we feel abundance. Before we let go of the attachment, and the more we feel, I, especially myself, experiencing the feeling of letting go of the dukkha and feeling a much more happiness and peaceful in life. Therefore, wanted to spread this effort to everyone. And one of the initiatives of the board is that spreading more words, or spreading more teaching, and reaching out to more people. And then we are living in this time of the world in this time that social media, YouTube, Facebook is very important, and it's a very essential tool to help us spread the word. So in the next coming years, the board, me as a director of development, the plan is to want to spread more of the Dhamma teachings from the Sangha using the tool like Facebook and YouTube too. And that will be one of the initiatives that you will see. Hopefully that you will all can see us more on YouTube, and then asking you to follow and try to spread out or share the teaching on YouTube. and that will be part of help spreading the teaching and the blessing of the Sangha. Thank you.
I'd like to invite both of you to just stay on the screen for a couple of minutes while I praise you. Just like at the beginning of the program, we had these very high in the sky aspirations about what enlightenment is and signifies, and then come back to how the Buddha taught us. And it has to be like right here inside this body, right here, we've got to do the work. And so just the same way, what's so practical and necessary, like washing the dishes, for our dedicated board to be taking care of so many things that are administrative and dealing with the world of business on behalf of organizing for the Bhikkhunis to receive the requisites. Buildings are great, they're important, and we'd like to raise the roof and put more and more buildings, but then we also like to raise a Bhikkhuni. And so when we look like over here, there's the seminary who's just ordained. It could be that she could become an Arahant in 3 weeks, but it's also possible that it might make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 10 years for a woman who's got the monastic aspiration to come the whole distance to become a fully capable and competent Bhikkhuni who's capable to carry the tradition down. And so then it takes a lot of love and support to be able to support a woman to be able to mature in this training, to mature in this path. And this is what our respected board of directors are doing for us, and what so many others are doing for us.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Yes,
sadhu.
thank you. Yeah, it's very much, I'm reflecting on for Sanghamitta Theri and this great state process of, all the diplomacy and the traveling on the ship with all the entourage and the Bodhi tree and the multiple coronations of the Bodhi tree and this whole process. How much goes into the logistics of that? Yes, ordination for 1,000 candidates. We, how much work it is to get one ordained over here this past year, and just, but what a great benefit that is, and how on all these different levels there's this upwelling of support that can then have these lasting effects that we are here, however many hundreds of years later, still celebrating, and that we can still do together. And absolutely everything that Supatra and Nuchada are doing, Anumodana for their service, it's all part of this great whole. And we really appreciate so much, and are honored to be part of this ongoing tradition of support with hopefully great fruit and great benefit over time. So Modena.
Go on to the next section.
Yes, so we're coming, well, if you're on the East Coast, we're coming to the countdown to midnight right now, to the new year. I know we have many people from all around the world. I wanted to mention, I received one little comment here from Venerable Dhammanusari, currently in Vietnam, saying it was great to see the documentary as they were born in the Cambodia and walking this path following Arahanta Theri Sanghamitta and all Bhikkhunis around the world. 3 of them are now in Vietnam, in the Khmer Krom cultural area of Vietnam. And she says, so many people are so surprised to see us Bhikkhunis. I'm looking forward, hopefully Samaneri Dhammajivi could make a translation of this Bhikkhuni documentary. Thank you so much. So I want to just answer, yes, she's working on it. It's in process. We've added some English captions. She's working on making the Khmer captions for that. And I think there might even be a Spanish version in the works. I've heard rumors. So yes, sharing this all around the world. And as we come to our new year, it's a few hours away still here in California. I know it's already happened in Thailand and Vietnam and Bangladesh. But still, all of us transitioning into the new year together with this great inspiration from the past, and inspiration that we may carry this forward in our lives in whatever way is possible. So recalling our dedication of our practice this evening, our Patipati Puja, for in dedication to the great Bhikkhuni Arahantas of the past, including Arahant Sanghamitta Theri and the 1,000 women who awoke with her, and dedication to our own practice today and to the re-arising of the Arahant Bhikkhuni Sangha in this time. And so with that dedication and also with blessings for the new year, I would like to invite, if possible, our Bhikkhunis from Khmer Krom area of Vietnam. I think we have 3 Bhikkhunis there now who are on with us. And I'd like to invite their blessings if they're available. Oh, before that, though, I also want to say hello to Ayya Arimuti. Greetings, respects, Venerable. Happy to see you. I think coming to us from Sri Lanka. And Anagarika, what is it, Upachala? Oh, is that right? Oh, anyway, welcome. Happy to see you. Glad you could join us on this New Year's Eve or day, I think, over there.
Thank you, Venerable Kachayana.
Yes, I think that's Ayameta GV. Camera's off. Yes. Welcome. Are you happy to? I heard it was a little noisy there.
All right. So I think
you sound pretty good though.
Okay. So because the Wi-Fi is really slow, so we can turn the camera on. Is it okay?
That's okay. Happy to hear your chanting. Sorry we can't see you. But
Thank
you sound good.
And first of all, I would like to the warmest greeting New Year from the Khmer Bhikkhuni group from Vietnam. After we have a trip over here, we stay in Cambodia. So greeting to Mahasangha, Happy New Year to the world. So I have heard about our discussing about our lineage, Bhikkhuni, and I heard about the distinction of the Sangha, Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni. And so I decided to pick the chanting. Hopefully all the Venerable know this chanting we call a Mangala Chakava. So this is all the blessing from the Buddha. So this is the prata, the blessing from the Buddha. So all of Venerable, you ready? Yes. So, you not turn the camera? No. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Tite mate te jo jaya sati mahakuna paramato panya tikara sasapantara yani virana samatha sapakavato arahato samma sambuddha satwatang samaha no piawe na asaisha no pianchania no piawe na tha tarasata mangalena piave na chapanarang syam na keta mieliana piave na tesaparametano piave na tesapaparametano piave na tesaparamata parametano piave na saila samantipanyano piave na patiano piave na tamiano piave na sangkiano piave na tekiano piave na atiano piave na paliano piave na nyaya tamiano piave na chatora saite sahasa tamang antiano piave na wele lokotara tamiano piave na atang ke kamekiano piave na atasama patiano piave na chalapanyano piave na chatosajanyana no piave na tesalapanyana no piave na sapanyatanyana no piave na meta karana no piave upekano piave na sapaparata no piave na ratana tayasarana no piave na tayahang saparaka sakapata wato katamana supaya santo sapa antaraya pevinia santo sapa sangkapa tayahang samekyanto tikiya yuka tayahang hato satawasa jiwe na samengkika hato sapatia aka patawana bhumi kangkiya mahasamatiya arakakate wata satya tomahe anarakanto pawato sapamanggalang kanto sapatevata sapapatiano piave na sapatamiano piave na sapasangkiano piave na satya sakai pawanto te pawato sapamanggalang kanto sapatevata patiano piave na sapatamiano piave na sapasangkiano piave na satya satai pawanto te jayanta patiano sakyanang nantewateno ewang tuang wecheyo ha hecheya socheya mengkale aparacita palang ke saise api seke sapapatianang akyapata pamata tesana katang samangkalang sopapiatang sohatetang sokanong jasayatang brahmacarai sapatiakenang kaya kamang viacakamang patiakenang manokamang panitite patiakenang nikantra nelapantuate patiakene. Happy New Year to Mahasangha.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anumodana. Thank you very much, Venerables, for that lovely chanting, and blessings for our new year.
This brings us to the closing of this program with appreciation for everybody who participated, and hoping that others will also have the opportunity to hear the good news about Anula Theri and the 1,000 companions and the whole Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka and throughout the whole world. We dedicate the merit of this program for the ancient enlightened Bhikkhunis and for the future arising and continuation of the enlightened Bhikkhuni Sangha in this modern time.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Are we finished? Yeah, people. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Suakato
Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami
Suparipanno
Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami.
Sadhu Sadhu Anamodama.
Okay.